Today on the Topping Show, Trump is ahead in every swing state. The FBI lied about crime statistics, and spoiler alert, this is worse than we thought. Jimmy Carter voted for Kamala Harris via mail, but he just sleeps basically dead at an event. Elon on Trump saying that the Republican Party is the party of common sense. Riley Gaines on Trump's plan to ban men from competing with women in sports. Hobby Lobby increasing their minimum wage. Boeing laying off 10% of their staff while SpaceX catches a rocket from space. And Honda recalls 720,000 vehicles. All of that and much more on The Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of The Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Guy says quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, going over to the business part of the podcast, you have Hobby Lobby increasing their minimum wage yet again. They are perhaps best known for being closed on Sundays and being a faith-based hobby organization. One of those things where it's fascinating to see the cultural shift in the United States. I mean, decades ago, pretty much every business was closed on Sunday. I mean, shoot, is at the time hugely controversial when 7-Eleven, the convenience chain, was actually open 7 days a week for 11 hours. I mean, a lot of people didn't even believe that actually happened at first. But with Hobby Lobby, they have been a stalwart of keeping the Sabbath day sacred, and it's one of the few stores that's still closed on Sunday, and impressively enough, does better than most of the competitors, even though they're also closed on Sunday, very similar to Chick-fil-A. Now, this comes to us thanks to mlive.com, which is a website, or rather a news reporting out of Michigan. And they say specifically, quote, this retailer just raised its minimum wage to $19.25 per hour. Jeez Louise, that is, as youth might say, legit, or lit, or tight. Something to that effect, which that is pretty damn good. Now, they say, quote, a national retailer is the latest to raise its minimum hourly wage, effective October 1st, so a little retroactive. Hobby Lobby raised its minimum full-time hourly wage from $19 to 25 hours, an increase in the 13th minimum wage boost by the craft store in 15 years, which is exceptionally good. The Hobby Lobby founder, David Green, who is also the CEO, says, quote, a pillar of our success is taking care of our employees. For decades, we have closed our stores on Sundays and at 8 p.m. the rest of the week to help employees balance their work and personal lives and have time to rest with family and worship. We work hard to provide some of the best wages and benefits in retail, which allow us to attract and retain a great team of associates to serve our loyal customers. You noted that the chain also offers medical, prescription, dental plans, 401k with company match, which is ridiculously good. It's one of the few things I miss from corporate America. They also offer flexible spending plan, long-term disability benefits, life insurance, vacation pay, sick and personal leave, holiday pay, chaplain services, and employee discounts. Wow, the number of locations actually continues to increase. They say, of course, founded in 1972. They now operate 1,035 stores across the United States, which is pretty darn impressive. And I kind of joke that I built my tech company on Hobby Lobby because I used to go to 6 to 7 different stores with a coupon so I can get the discount on the 4-pack of clock movements. And I would take those, I took those clock movements, I'd drill a hole into a circuit board, then I'd drop it off for prospective clients and talk about how, you didn't make a lot of money doing it. It's not the core of what we did, but we do IT recycling services, and I helped get our foot in the door, so to say. And truth be told, if you want to learn more about Hobby Lobby, one of my favorite retail books I read last year was More Than a Hobby by David Green. I had to reference my bookshelf over there. And I mean, last year I read pretty much as many books as I could on retail founders. This year is more about automotive. Let me know if you have any interest in me putting that in the description of the video, or if you want me to do like a cliche book of the month, summary. Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting business news, you have Boeing laying off about 10% of their staff as the company continues to struggle almost as bad as their airplanes, which, again, not financial advice, but your company is, as the youth might say, an epic fail when every other defense contractor in the United States, from Raytheon to Northrop Grumman to RDX to, Lockheed Martin, all of them are increasing exponentially with sales and stock prices. And Boeing is the one that keeps going down. Granted, they have a large part that's commercial sales to airlines, but Boeing is, at its heart, a defense contractor. They make some of the coolest aeroplanes and machineries on the planet that usually stay assembled and usually work. But these days, unfortunately, well, not so much, and it's starting to catch up with them. Now, this comes to us thanks to Amy Pitchty, who's a writer at CBSNews.com specifically. Love the article here. Says, quote, Boeing is cutting 10% of its workforce, or about 17,000 employees, which also, they're not doing great these days. Unfortunately, I don't know how disappointing this is. The CBS does not have a picture of their iconic airplanes in the actual article, but I partially digress. According to the substance of the article, they say, quote, Boeing says cutting that much of their employees. In a memo, CEO Kelly Ortenberg ordered the layoffs, writing that the aerospace giant must make tough decisions to stay competitive, which, I mean, it's almost laughable. I didn't mean to laugh, but in order to stay competitive, it's pretty bad when you can't be, like, there's not much commercial competition when it comes to these giant airplanes. There's basically 2 or 3 companies that compete in their core area. And because, with defense contracts, you have to be made in America, which I definitely see the, advantage of that, or the reasoning behind it. But because of that, that's why they're pretty darn secure when it comes to those, government contracts. Now, which is why it's almost laughable. They need to stay competitive. They do, but you're bad when you're even not financially viable to work with the government, who notoriously spends money. Like, that's just ridiculous. Ortenberg added that the company is also delaying its program to develop 77X airplane and halting production of 767 aircraft after it delivers the remaining 767 planes that have been ordered by customers. The layoffs and production changes come amid the labor dispute at Boeing, with 33,000 machinists going on strike in September after failing to agree on a contract. The aerospace giant finances and reputation have also taken a hit this year due to manufacturing problems and multiple federal investigations following a mid-air panel blowout in January. Now, they continue to say, quote, our business is in a difficult decision, and it's hard to overstate the challenges we face together. Beyond navigating our current environment, restoring a company requires tough decisions, and we will have to make structural changes to ensure that we stay competitive and deliver our customers over the long term. And ideally, deliver to those customers in one piece. Now, looks like in terms of having someone at the realm of the company to fix things, again, not financial advice, but I think this is probably a better leader. Now, they noted that the CEO, Ortenberg, is a former head of aerospace company Rockwell Collins, joined Boeing as CEO in August, replacing the CEO, Dave Culhan, who, again, he is more of an accountant, or not to be pejorative, but a bean counter, not really business or engineering background, which, don't get me wrong, CFOs work magic with companies and is a vital thing, but when it comes to something like, building airplanes, you should probably have more conceptual knowledge and not be hanging out in Chicago when you don't really make much there, which used to be the Boeing headquarters in North America for quite some time before they recently relocated, well, make most companies out of Chicago, but more pertinent to them, to one of their actual manufacturing facilities. So it is very unfortunate to see a lot of these employees being laid off. Now, thankfully, I mean, aviation is a huge literally up-and-coming industry. The planes are always going up and ideally coming down safely, but hopefully they're able to find gainful employment at one of the competitors. Again, Northrop Grumman makes some fantastic airplanes, Lockheed Martin being another big one. So there's a lot of opportunity out there. So hopefully these 17,000 employees aren't, unemployed for too long. But yeah, Boeing has also become pretty big and bloated throughout the years. So again, also not too surprising. Be interested to see how much efficiencies they increase with this. But let me know in the comments your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting business news, you have SpaceX catching a rocket out of the sky, literally. It's a good juxtaposition with Boeing, where they have to leave astronauts stranded in space because of their engineering ineptitudes, which, yeah, me and my friends debate, is Boeing basically a government company because of the size, because of their scope, bureaucracy, and depending on the U.S. government. I think you can make an argument for that. In terms of aviation, research, development, and innovation, yeah, you're not beating SpaceX, which is why they're winning all these contracts, and why there's probably been more innovation in SpaceX in the past 24 months than in the past 24 years of something like NASA. Now, this comes to us straight from Elon Musk over on X, or as 18 people still call it, Twitter. Let me know in the comments what you call it. Now here you can see the iconic rocket. Here's a video here. One of the largest rockets to go out. Then it actually comes back down and it catches it. It's insanity. And it got 40.6 million views and 175,000 likes. Which, here you see these giant arms.
And pluck it out of the air. There's a custom light there's a custom built tower with arms that are designed to catch the largest and heaviest flying object ever made. and pluck it out of the air. I mean, that's the theory anyway. So
Elon just said, delete the legs, delete. We're like, well, what's like, you just use the arms, and then he said it again. I mean, they go, wow, he's serious. Okay, we better get on this. And now it seems normal. Or
it'll weigh about 250 tons. We'll make that lighter over time. So you got like, cool it a couple hundred tons, plummeting at more than half the speed of sound. So this thing is still coming in really fast.
Yeah.
Pretty much down in a downward direction. So then they light the engines. So it's going to slow itself down very fast and correct any error. So like whatever the XY error is when the engines land, it's going to take out that XY error and then drop the velocity to basically zero. Come in between the arms. The arms will be wide, and as it's coming in, the arms will close. Go flush against the side of the vehicle, and the vehicle will be descending through the arms. And those tiny little, you can barely see them, the little knobs, those kind of lifting lugs will touch the top of the arms. And then.
Now let's actually watch the video of it coming down here. See here. There we go. This is insane. Again, NASA, I mean, in terms of a beautiful example of government ineptitudes or the private sector versus public sector, in NASA, I mean, when they launch their shuttles, they just let they actually let the thrusters just drop to the ground, and sometimes they recover them. Here, they actually come back. They landed nearly on a dime. So here you can see the rocket coming back down.
Come on, baby! You can do it!
It's insane.
You can do it! Come on,
engineering.
baby! You can do it! Come on!
Best commentator.
Yes! Come on! You got this! Yes! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! They did it! They friggin' did it!
It's insane. I feel happy. Oh, the whole crowd.
Wow!
That's insane. One of the most valuable private-based companies on the planet. I know Elon will never IPO. I suspect he'll never IPO because, I mean, with the issues with Tesla's had, we're losing control, more scrutiny, and having to make more quarterly decisions versus long-term. I don't think he'll ever actually do an IPO for SpaceX. And truth be told, I don't think they're hurting for money anytime soon. But yeah, I can't but one. Yeah, man, not financial advice, but geez Louise, I would love, to buy a couple of shares of that company. Because yeah, and Starlink, I mean, that just keeps growing in size and capabilities. I mean, no one has that type of engineering. That's insane. There's another 20-second. This one's actually close up. Sanity. Yeah, that's one of the. There's a couple memes of someone holding up a cat in the same position with their arms, getting 131 likes. Yeah, pretty much everyone's a lot cute, funny AI generated pictures of cats with rockets in the comments. Same with Elon. There's a is it a little AI picture of Elon saying "Make America Based Again," which, yeah, that's pretty darn impressive. Which, yeah, that is insane. It's hard to imagine that NASA still gets funding or is even relevant anymore. I would think that money would just be better spent just shutting that down and, just having SpaceX take over all the operations. Though some old Germans will be surely disappointed if they were to shut down NASA. But let me know in the comments, do you think, in terms of research, development, innovation, when it comes to space exploration, will SpaceX continue to be the #1? Or do you think there'll be any competitors anytime soon? Or will the government ever do anything efficient? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going on to the culture part of the podcast, you have Elon Musk and Trump saying that the Republican Party is a party of common sense now. Now, this comes to us thanks to someone, well, I'm not sure how they got this domain name or this Twitter name or X name because it's pretty has to be pretty in demand. It's quite literally the hashtag America, or some people pronounce it America. And Elon responded to it. Now, a quick little clip of Trump, about 2 minutes long.
This is a party, the Republican Party, of common sense. Forget about conservative, liberal. We're, let's say conservative, but we're really a party of, we need borders, we need fair elections, we don't want men playing in women's sports, we don't want transgender operations without parental consent. You know, there's so many things, but it's 99.9% is common sense. It really is common sense. And I like to say it. I don't know if anyone said it in the past, but I say we're really a party of common sense, and we want to have great people in our country. I want to have a lot of people come in so that you have your choice and so that they have choice. I want to, you know, I have a good heart. I have a heart where I want people to be taken care of, but I don't want to take in people where millions of people, 21 million people at least, have come in the last 3.5 years, unvetted, unchecked. We don't know anything about them. How about this? Gavin Newsom, he's the governor of California.
Newsom.
He signed Newsom, I call him.
Yeah. But do you think...
No, he corrected me. I said, that's the first time I've been corrected.
There are CEOs out here, if they said those sort of things about a rival CEO, they'd be sacked. Do you think it's fine for a president?
But they don't have to survive like me. They don't have to go through what I have to go through. There's never been a president that's been treated like me, so I have to fight my own way.
Well, you made a very good job of...
He signed a bill in California 2 days ago that you don't even have the right to ask a person for voter ID. And if you ask a person for voter ID, of course you have to show voter ID. The only reason you wouldn't do, because they want to cheat.
True.
The bill says you cannot, it's against the law for you to ask a person, may I please see your voter ID when he votes? What is our country coming to?
Base, as you might say, and true. Yeah, Gavin Newsom passed that law because there are conservatives who live in California. I don't know why the hell they still live there, but nevertheless, they still live under the boot of tyranny in California. And they actually had some counties where they were trying to pass a law that, and it was going to actually begin, I believe, January 2024 or 25 rather. But they wanted to pass a law in their county that said, hey, if you want to vote, you have to show your ID. And Gavin Newsom said, nope, we're going to strike this down. In fact, we're going to make it illegal for you to ask for this, which yeah, there's only one reason for that. It's to cheat. Now, Elon responded to this simply saying true and got 34.1 million views as well as 227,000 likes. One of the first ones coming from Gunther Eagleman saying, quote, Trump, we need common sense back in the White House, getting 372 likes. Emos Chong says, just needs to clear up a bit about parental consent. How can our parents have the right to consent to mutilating kids? Looking back, I think he sort of misspoke, and it's perfect, getting 248 likes. Paul Zupa says logic and fairness is what the new Republican Party represents, getting 60 likes. Bella says, quote, vote for President Trump, J.D. Vance, Elon Musk, Robert F. Kennedy, Tulsi Gabbard, and Vivek Ramaswamy, like our nation's future depends on it, because it does. Getting 248 likes. See a couple more picture compilations of those folks just mentioned. Or you can vote for Kamala Walls and the Cheneys. Yeah. Which party is really the party of unity again? Let's see. Yeah, William Brown saying has a little meme says things I'm worried about, and it's just a giant pie graph that's all pink, and pink says voting machines. Another color is brown. It says Kamala Harris getting 41 likes. So yeah, Elon continues to be a man of culture. Let's see here. And yeah, I think he also made some donations to Trump, so not too surprised to endorse a lot of his policies, ideals. And hopefully we'll see how much it shifts in terms of, there's a lot of people who used to love and worship Elon, but throughout the years, as he's become quote unquote more controversial, those people who used to love and worship him now disdain him pretty much unparalleled. But let me know in the comments. Do you think, Elon's endorsements will help Trump in the polls? It'll help pull him ahead? Let me know, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, you have Riley Gaines on Trump's plan to ban men from competing in women's sports, which Riley Gaines, really, she prominently came to fame when she had to compete against a biological man who was competing against her in a swimming tournament in collegiate swimming, and they decided, they both tied her and the biological man, and the school said, oh, we're going to give him, he gets the trophy, not you, even though you both won. But we'll mail you a trophy. That same school also forced the females to use the same locker room as the biological male. And when they raised concerns, the school said it was the biological girls. It's their problem that they feel uncomfortable for that. Yeah, that's a interesting university policy. And reason, well, I was going to say, reason number 9,958,735,000. They really don't need college and or, homeschool or go to private school or something else. Now, Riley saying this is actually responding to a 2-minute clip on the Fox News. Now, Riley says, quote, Harris Faulkner asked a room full of women how many of them are concerned that their daughters have to compete against men in their sports. Every woman raises a hand. Trump says he will executively ban women from competing in women's sports. Yeah.
Up and down the ballot. How many of you are worried about biological men and boys competing against women and girls in sports? Just show me. That's almost the entire, that is the entire room. And I know you have a question.
I do. By the way, excuse me, it's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Your question, your name, and your hometown.
My name is Linda, and I'm from Milton, Georgia.
Good.
But originally Brooklyn, New York.
Oh,
I'd get that
good.
in there. My question is, how do you plan on addressing the transgender issue in women's sports? I have 9 grandchildren, 6 of them female, all playing sports, and we are very concerned for their safety, not just on the field and the courts, but in their locker rooms as well.
Right. It's such an easy question, and everybody in the room, and you know that answer, we're not going to let it happen. You look, just yesterday, they had a volleyball match. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Where a person that transitioned, okay? We have to be very careful because this can terminate your political career if you say it's slightly off, all right? But transitioned from man to female and was on a volleyball. And I saw the slam. It was a slam. I never saw a ball hit so hard. Hit the girl on the head. But other people, even in volleyball, they've been permanently, they've been really hurt badly, women playing men. But you don't have to do the volleyball. We stop it. We stop it. We absolutely stop it. You can't have it. It's a man playing in the game. Physically, from a muscular standpoint, even if it was a little bit less, maybe they do all sorts of tests and drugs and everything else. Look at what's happened in swimming. Look at the records that are being broken.
So how do you stop it? Do you go to the sports leagues? Do you go to the Olympic
You just ban
councils?
it. The president bans it. You just don't let it happen. Not a big deal.
And Whipped Rally got 1.1 million views as well as 39,000 likes. I was going to the comments. One of the top ones coming from Chuck Costello says, quote, that's what leadership looks like. No men in women's sports. Getting 429 likes. Now, you also have Gigi saying Trump is the only candidate to do away with this nonsense. No female should ever compete against a biological male. Getting 175 likes. Proud Patriot US says these women better remember that when they go to vote. Getting 228 likes. Which, that's one of the concerns in terms of, what do women care about? Again, on average, when you look at kind of the top causes, the top topics when it comes to the upcoming election, one of the biggest topics that they are vehemently caring about is abortion. Even though for the umpteenth time, that's not on the ballot because, again, that's been relegated to the states. Yet, they still raise millions upon millions of dollars saying that they can do something for you. They'll make it, so you can do it all the way. They'll make it like the whole United States, like Minnesota, where you can abort all the way up to 9 months plus, which Tim Walz and the people there like. But no, it's in fact a state's issue. If I make any changes, for or against, go to Hobby Lobby, get some nice cardstock, maybe some, I was going to say crayons, let's be realistic, get some nice markers, and make your opinion peacefully be known to your representatives and, collect some signatures. That's how change is going to happen for either side of the kind of the ideology on that topic. And yet, it's ridiculous. These people, like, again, a small sample size, but a poll of about 1,200 people was saying how they cared, the rate at which they cared about abortion was twice as much as the economy or illegal immigration or crime. Jesus. Now, going back to the main comment section, you have Paul Slag saying men are not women. Gender affirming care for children is a crime against humanity. It also happens to raise about $100,000 from each of its victims. Well, pretty interested to see where that statistic comes from because, well, again, you need ongoing. It's a nice way of putting this. I try to keep this moderately family friendly, but there's ongoing maintenance when it, I guess body maintenance, or you're kind of dependent on the healthcare industry for life once you go down that road. If you want to continue down that road, it's quite concerning. Now, that being said, there's a big incentive from the medical industry because that means a lifetime of profits. I got 85 likes. Let's see here. Eric Litchfield says, quote, "Yet Harris still leads comfortably with women voters because, abortion, I guess you don't have to protect them from mediocre men if they are never born." Getting 30 likes. Using contrarian statements here. Not too many. Sal Suso says, "Women are finally saying enough is enough. We love to see this. Riley, you have been a huge catalyst for this. So awesome to see the dam breaking. Thanks to your hard work." Getting 48 likes, which I do agree. Riley Gaines is probably the forefront, I guess, cultural, not profession, not I think of a nice way of saying her core competency, or she's had a huge influential change in the culture of the United States when it comes to waking up people to the fact that, biological men, first, they are competing against biological women in these types of sports, and they're stealing quite literally opportunities and trophies from them, as well as physically injuring them in many cases as well. It's one of those cliche things where for years, leftists said, "Oh yeah, it's not happening." And they said, "Well, it's happening, it's rare." And they say, "Well, it's happening, and it's okay." Then they say, "It's happening, it's good." Then they say, "It's happening, you should like it." And then they say, "It's happening, you should celebrate it." It's the cliche thing we've seen for decades now. It's kind of getting old. So it'll be interesting to see if I wonder if this will be a huge ballot initiative in terms of people. There are a lot of single issue voters, including myself. I have a couple core topics that are true to my heart. I wonder if this will be a huge, culturally speaking, it's becoming a very popular topic. And I think less and less people are being afraid to speak out about it. But in terms of will it translate to politics and will get people to actually vote differently, that's where maybe a little bit. But let me know in the comments your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the political part podcast, you have the FBI lied about crime stats. They're worse than we were told, which, in terms of news, saying that the FBI lied, well, that's not really news, but this is newer than many of the lies that they make in terms of the lies of the FBI. That could probably fill several dictionary-length textbooks. Perhaps an entire Encyclopedia Britannica, which also might be dating me because Lord knows, I think they've been out of print for 10 plus years. But that was the OG search engine back in the day before we had the dial-up. The Encyclopedia Britannica. But I partially digress from the nostalgia. This comes to us thanks to Libs of TikTok, where she dives into the statistics, and she has a nice little infographic. Now, she says, before the infographic, breaking, the FBI just quietly updated crime stats for 2022. Turns out it was missing thousands of crimes. The updated data shows that there are 80,029 more violent crimes in 2021. There are additional 1,699 murders. And, I try to keep this, again, moderately family friendly. 7,780 instances of people being taken advantage of in the, well, not the bedroom, but traditionally in the bedroom. 33,439 robberies and 37,091 aggravated assaults. Jeez, and we'll pull up make the infographic ginormous over there. Yeah, it looks like in terms of the biggest crime revision, in terms of them having to update it, the biggest delta was the property crime rate. That increased by 198,015. Now, granted, in terms of severity, being morally vacuous and deplorable, that's not the worst one. Of course, property can be replaced, people and experiences cannot. But that seems to be statistically, that's one of the biggest delta. The second biggest delta was larceny theft rate was 113,975. And then the third one is violent crime rate at 80,000, followed by motor theft at 54,000. Aggravated assault, 37,000. Robbery, 33,000. And keep in mind, I would argue this is also that's actually not even accurate. It's even lower than that, because we've heard multiple times people from these crazy states and areas like San Francisco and New York City, well, they're not reporting crime anymore because they know if they call the police, nothing will happen. We see multiple street interviews where people will go and talk to the citizens there who, Lord knows why I still live there, but they'll say, "Oh yeah, I called the police, 2 or 3 times for this specific type of a crime," and they just stop showing up. Or in some cases like Chicago and Minnesota, the police literally say, "We will not respond to certain of these crimes." So if the police tell you multiple times they'll do nothing, it's a pretty big sign they don't care. And why would you call them again? So, and there are also places that simply say they're not giving data to the FBI. So yeah, even though they're revising this, I suspect it's actually even worse when it comes to the true statistics. Now, that being said, it's still been pretty valid. Got 3 million views as well as 29,000 likes, which is also funny in terms of, Tim Walz having these campaign videos where he says, we can't go back to the last 4 years. Yes, Tim, we do agree on that sentiment. And interesting how every time the government lies, and again, this also happens when Republicans are in office, Though we could debate the statistics in terms of which one is more frequent. But interestingly enough, when there's always a lie or just a clerical error with the U.S. government, there is always an error in which they were giving themselves a more favorable light. Coincidence? No, absolutely not, obviously. Now going to the comments, again, they got 29,000 likes. Now she also said the source was realclearinvestigations.com. It got 1.1 thousand likes. Well, the first comment's coming from Chuck Costello saying, quote, "This is 1,000% straight out of 1984. They do this enough and they'll be able to rewrite history on the fly," getting 1.6 thousand likes, which, yep. Libs TikTok responded saying, "And these corrections only going one way, getting 1,000 likes." True. It's, yeah. I just can't help but suspect they don't teach 1984 in public schools these days. They mainly teach gender identity, which is why maybe there's a 32-year low ACT score. But great job, teachers unions. You definitely deserve those raises you're asking for. Haha, that was sarcasm. But in all seriousness, 1984 is one of definitely the top 10 books ever written in history. I would be so bold to say that because of the important lessons learned you're supposed to come from it. Again, it's George Orwell's beautiful masterpiece. If you have more youngsters in the house, Animal Farm is still an exceptional book that gets the same morals across. However, it's a little bit shorter to read, a little easier to digest, more simpler vernacular. Now, going back to the main comment section, you also have Livercrap Media TM saying, quote, "The FBI," and it's a picture of the FBI and then Hunter Biden naked, staring at a wall of all his crimes. And he says, "See anything?" The FBI says, "Nope, not yet," which, yep, one of the biggest examples of injustice, getting 1.4 thousand likes. Arthur Eagleman also says the left has been lying about crime the whole time. Crime is up, getting 1.4 thousand likes. Again, take the moment to click that subscribe button. I have a theory. It may very well assist my speaking ineptitudes. When I first started the show, I had like 2 subscribers. One was probably a family member. And my speaking was worse. It was terrible. I spoke even faster, believe it or not, than now, mostly monotone, and stumbling over my words worse than Joe Biden trying to climb upstairs. But as I slowly but surely gain more subscribers, I become more articulate in my speaking. Granted, some might say it's just modicum of improvement, but an improvement nevertheless. So my theory is, the more and more people click that button, the better I'll be able to speak, and someday make it through an entire episode perfectly, fluently, and just eloquently. Granted, some might say it's a tall order, a pie-in-the-sky goal, but you have to aim high. So if you do me a favor and click that button and tell your friends, and shoot, tell your enemies. They may become your friends. Or they might be so irate because they don't like the show, they'll become your greater enemies, in which case, at least you poked the bear, I guess. But in all seriousness, if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. And go ahead and leave a some-star review of the Apple Store or the Spotify Store. Who knows? Might even get close to 5 stars one of these days. Heather 007 says, "The Democrats skew the statistics to plump up their non-existent record. What makes the non-believers think they won't do it at the ballot box?" Getting 373 likes. Planet of Memes. They did not, in fact, respond in meme form. But nevertheless, this alleged Planet of Memes says, quote, "The Biden-Harris administration cooks the books with jobs numbers, and now they're doing it with the crime statistics. The liberty media." That picture of a cat? Let me see here. Let me try to zoom in on that. This kind of emoji they're trying to use here, Mr. They didn't do a meme, but they did an emoji. Grasshoppers. I need to get a telescope. See the screen in front of me. That got 289 likes. Wait, oh yeah, there's another thing I lied about. They said, oh yeah, all these jobs are created. Then they had to correct that. And of course, not as many jobs created. I also would argue, when it comes to employment statistics, government jobs should not count. Partially because most of them are redundant and not necessary, but also because, is that really generating more wealth and making our country better? Or just creating more bureaucracy and unnecessary jobs areas? The peak of inefficiency. And when you look at what jobs were created the most, double-digit percentages was the government jobs. Paul Zazupa also says, quote, "It's just like the job statistics. It's always wrong in the direction to help Biden-Harris," getting 168 likes. Let's see. Oh, this is funny. Maria Isabella says, "Why wash, rinse, and repeat." This picture of a, NPC guy looking sad. It says, "Support woke," and it's the recycle sign. It says, "Support woke culture, vote for woke politicians." Ugh, why did crime rate go up? Move to a new city, then support woke culture. So it's an endless circle, which, as a wise man once said, "Don't California not Texas." Because again, there's reasons everyone keeps moving here. And yeah, it's because you're coming from a failed state. Policies didn't work, the culture didn't work. And yet some people are so mentally vacuous they want to replicate it, which is highly illogical. Highly illogical. Now that little, got a fair amount of likes. I got 253 likes. I also have Red Pill Report said, "Great timing, FBI. Wait until David Muir fact checks Trump, then quietly slip the real data in." The FBI says a corrupt, sleazy organization getting 136 likes. Now, that'd be a funny statistic or like a poll percentage. How many Americans support the FBI or say they're doing a good job? Yeah. J.D. Sharp says they lied about the crimes numbers to influence the election at the expense of the safety of Americans. Treason, again, getting 154 likes. Which, yeah. One would think someday someone in government be held accountable. Like, shouldn't they be fired for this? Should anyone be held accountable? Or though, maybe in most cases, like, at most, they'll probably get a paid leave of absence, like many government employees do when they are slapped on the wrist. So, definitely. Oh, yeah, another thing I lied about was, yeah. I'll never remember inflation when the U.S. Treasury, Janet Yellen was like, oh, yeah, we don't think it'll be this bad if we do these actions. And then we called it record high hyperinflation. They asked her, what do you have to say for yourself? She goes, I know this would happen. And she wasn't fired. How that bird gal I guess she looks like a bird. How she still has a job is beyond me. Janet Yellen should be working at Walmart. No, that's actually that'd be too complicated for her because at the cash register you have to use numbers and add. I guess the computer does addition. We have to understand basic numbers and math. That is above her pay grade. What job would Janet Yellen be fit for? What job involves no use in numbers and very low intellect? Podcasting? Kind of joking. But let me know. What would her real job be? And let me know. Do you think, will the government ever give us accurate data ever? Certainly, it doesn't really seem to happen. They seem to keep lying to make themselves look better and better. Do you think they'll ever have accurate representation for the government? And are you surprised the FBI lied about the statistics yet again to make them look good? Let me know, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have Jimmy Carter voted for Kamala Harris via the mail-in ballot, and they're rolling him out, and he's basically looks like he's not with us anymore. And this is probably, as you might say, cringe. I don't know who this is helping. Now this comes to us thanks to and wokeness. He says, quote, breaking, Jimmy Carter has made his first full day of Georgia early voting. His family declared he will vote for Harris, which again, in terms of he was one of the worst presidents of all time in terms of just utterly inept, especially with the economy. But I am very happy that Jimmy Carter lived long enough to see that he was not the worst president in U.S. history. I am at least glad at that. Remember, 40-year hyperinflation, 11 million illegals past 43 months coming in here, rough economy. It's just awful. So I am glad Jimmy Carter lived to see that he was not the worst president of all time. But this is cringe. This got 24.5 million views, and they're wheeling him out. And again, it's just to make Democrats look good. And how awkward is this? So it looks like this guy's trying to get a picture of him. So Jimmy Carter's body, I don't know where his mind is, but he's here to be sleeping at a convention. How cringe is that? It looks like a guy is squatting next to the roller. It looks like a medical roller where you actually put someone in to wheel them into an ambulance. And this gentleman is just squatting down to get a picture with him, apparently. And Jimmy Carter right here makes Joe Biden look like a spry human athlete, like an Olympian athlete in comparison. He looks like, by the time this video is rendered, uploaded, I hope it doesn't. But geez, it looks like he's about to pass away any second. There's another picture of him. Just sleeping awkwardly out in the middle of a field of people. Which, at what point is it elder abuse? Just feels like they're wheeling him out as a pawn to get more political points. And also, I don't know if it's I don't think it's going to be a good move on the political chessboard in terms of, is this going to win any votes in terms of, oh, Jimmy Carter voted for Kamala Harris? No, I'm going to vote for her too. He's clearly not there. And of all the political activities we've seen a lot of political activities that are in low, sub taste. This just seems poor taste. He's just not there, man. I got 24.5 million views and 67,000 likes. Well, the first comments coming from IO saying even for a partisan, this part is in bad taste, getting 9.4 thousand likes. And Wokeness replied saying his family wheeling him out like that and saying that was in bad taste, getting 20,000 likes. AKA says this is ridiculous, getting 1.8 thousand likes. Paul Zupa says he's still more competent than Harris, getting 4.5 thousand likes. Granted, that bar is pretty low. Arthur Eagleman says, quote, this should be criminal, getting 5.1 thousand likes. Planet of Memes, epic fail. They did not again respond in meme form, yet simply text. This alleged Planet of Memes says, quote, is he really casting a vote for Kamala Harris or got 20 likes? Or sorry, 200 likes? Cool Christian Engineer says, let the old man rest. Joe Biden has already replaced him as Joe Biden sitting on the beach getting 95 likes, which, and so, I mean, he's the opposite of Anakin from Star Wars. I mean, Joe Biden loves the sand. He loves the beach. I mean, that'd be a fun statistic. How many days has Joe Biden spent at the beach? He got 95 likes. Not me saying that, but that picture of Joe Biden sitting at the beach. Oh, jeez. Clandestine says chocolate. It looks like a character from SpongeBob, getting 447 likes. John Farish did the same thing. And says, is that Jimmy Carter, the lady from SpongeBob who wanted to buy chocolate, getting 3.8 thousand likes. George says, doubt he knows who Kamala Harris is, getting 9.2 thousand likes. Irene Amalda says, poor Carter, the last image we'll have of him is near a corpse being dragged around by his family to vote for a lying, dumb, racist Marxist. Getting 6.3 thousand likes. I can't help but think how funny it would be if Carter was able to somehow wake up and be coherent and just say, kidding, I'm glad I lived long enough to see and I wasn't the worst president of all time from 2024. I mean, he would never do that, but that'd be an epic last thing to do. Just a giant middle finger to the establishment. Common Sense Custodian says, quote, every time I see this, I cannot believe they are disgracing a dying president like this, getting 6,000 likes. The right answer says this should be illegal. The guy barely alive and clearly can't cast his vote himself. His family sucks for putting him on display like this, getting 7.2 thousand likes. Let's see. One bad dude says he represents most Harris supporters, getting 1.4 thousand likes. Let's see here. Oxford said this is sad. Why are they treating Joe Biden like this? This is inhumane. It's a picture of Jimmy Carter and the gentleman. I mean, to me, that's almost, it's not, I guess it's not equally as bad as the family, but how in poor taste is it to be that random gentleman getting a picture with Carter who's clearly sleeping? I mean, first of all, why do you want a picture like that? It's not a good picture. I know he's a famous politician, but geez Louise. I believe he also just recently turned 100. Here. Just a Girl says, this is atrocious. Imagine your family pushing you out in public on your deathbed. These people are sick and should be criminal, the voting part as well, getting 773 likes. Let's see. Florida 1 says it's shameful they politicized this man's death like this, getting 877 likes. Rage Libs says, isn't this voter fraud? He is hardly conscious and can't make a sound decision, getting 639 likes. Yeah. That being said, that would discount many votes in the US these days. Let's see. Any contrarian statements here? I mean, see, oh, jeez, Jesse James, I don't think it's a celebrity, says more dead people voting, getting 113 likes. David Santa Clara says, I want proof of life, getting 172 likes. That's, yeah. In terms of, oh yeah, never forget about Skeletor. Dianne Feinstein, yeah, I almost forgot about her. One of the most evil gun grabbers in history. Yeah, Democrats, they will wheel you out into your deathbed to hold on to that power. I mean, Dianne Feinstein, not just mentally vacuous, but morally vacuous, wanting to disarm Americans while she has great security, of course. But towards the end of her life, she lost her power of attorney to, I believe, it was really weird. And it wasn't her daughter. I believe it was actually Pelosi's daughter, something like that. So Feinstein didn't have the capability to make her own life decisions, but she apparently was still cognitive enough, or she could still legally make decisions that affect hundreds of millions of Americans. That's ridiculous. She also came out of the D.C. a couple times, and reporters would ask her, what do you think about this bill you voted on? And she literally said, I didn't vote on that. But she had just like 10 minutes prior to that. Yeah, that got 76 likes, that picture of Dianne Feinstein. So, it seems like overall, a lot of old Hollywood clips of like Skeletors and, people are barely alive. So definitely not in good taste, and I don't see how this really gains any points on the political chessboard. Like, even my friends who are Democrat think this is pretty disgusting. And I don't, I mean, let me know in the comments. I mean, is this really gaining any political points? Is this getting people excited to vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz? I mean, how many people really respect Jimmy Carter from a political or intellectual point of view? I mean, he's a terrible president. I know people who admire him because of his humanitarian effort he famously he makes volunteers for the House for Humanity, and he does a lot of good in that regard. And again, anyone who does volunteering, I appreciate that. It's a good thing. But I mean, in terms of his political intellect or his ideas about the economy or politics, I mean, does anyone really respect him in that regard? And is this really going to help anyone out? I mean, if anything, it just looks like his family's evil for taking advantage of him. And to debate if it's, it just doesn't seem like it. I don't think it's going to help. I think it's going to backfire. People are going to just keep roasting him and be like, this, average Kamala Harris voter. And this is why you shouldn't have mail-in ballots and something to that effect. But let me know in the comments, because as always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have Trump now ahead in every swing state, according to Polymarket. Now, this comes to us appropriately enough, thanks to Polymarket on X, or do you still call it Twitter? Let me know in the comments. Now, they say specifically, quote, Trump is now the lead in every swing state. Now, exploding this up so you can see the specific statistics, you can see in Arizona, he is, Now, granted, this is before what do you call it? What do you want to call it? The deep state variable, or random votes, or random, mail-in ballots coming in at 3 in the morning. What do you want to call it? And granted, there's no such thing as a perfect sample size. Take everything with a grain of salt. But I mean, according to the Polymarket, Trump is at 68% in Arizona, and Kamala Harris is at 32%. That is one of the biggest deltas. Now in Michigan, Trump's at 55%, Kamala Harris is at 45%, which again, Michigan is known for being the land or the headquarters of the American automotive. Well, legacy automotive. Obviously, Tesla's over in the great state, or some might argue the great country of Texas. But you do have the legacy automotive manufacturers, including Ford, as well as General Motors and Chrysler, now Stellantis. They're all famously headquartered in Michigan. That's where a lot of the cars are engineered as well as manufactured. And again, I think a lot of those UAW members, the actual people who make the cars, a lot of them are starting to realize, wait a minute, why are we voting for a party that wants to ban our most profitable product, especially when sometimes we get profit sharing and EVs, which again, they're banning ICE engines with de facto tailpipe emission bans and most fuel fleet averages. So the only way you can hit those metrics is with the EVs, which again, will need less rudimentary labor. It'll be more software jobs, but it'll be less entry-level roles in general. So they kind of shoot themselves in the foot. That's why, as crazy as it sounds, I think Michigan could go red this year. Now again, Michigan is 55%, Trump 45%, Kamala. You also have Georgia at 64%. Headquarters of great companies like Glock, U.S. headquarters, as well as Dana Defense, and Heckler & Koch. There's a lot of cool gun companies over there. Fun facts today. Kamala Harris is coming in at 36% in Georgia. You also have Wisconsin, home of Harley Davidson and Epic Software. And that's about it. I'm kidding. They're known for cheese and force balls, I suppose. But in all seriousness, Wisconsin is polling at 54% Trump and 46% Harris. Now, the state no one will stop talking about, because so many analysts, so many people are saying if you can't win Pennsylvania, the odds of winning are infinitesimal, close to none. Though a wise pilot once said, never tell me the odds, I partially digress. In Pennsylvania, according to Polymarket, Trump is at 59%, while Kamala Harris is at 41%, which is a huge delta. Which, again, of all these swing states, Pennsylvania also has the most electoral votes, coming in at 19, while Nevada, while important, coming in at 6 electoral votes. Now, in Nevada, that is the closest, where Trump is just barely ahead, relatively speaking. Now, Trump is coming in at 51% in Nevada, compared to Kamala Harris at 49%, which, yeah, I always think Nevada kind of a coin toss, because a lot of people, again, I'm not sure they want to do this, but they don't learn, apparently. There are a lot of people moving out of California who want to replicate California's politics, so they're trying to turn Nevada blue every couple. I'll never understand why people want to do that, because again, you're escaping communism, you're escaping high taxes, high regulation, poor culture. Why would you replicate that? Is so beyond me. It's ridiculous. It makes no sense. Which, again, it's just, yeah, ridiculous. Why would you want to ruin? Why would you want to ruin another state? Well, if you like those things, why just stay there? Oh, you want to move because it's destroyed? Yeah, then don't do that again. But I partially digress. So again, here's the states that have the most electoral votes. You got Pennsylvania, 19 electoral votes, where Trump is very much ahead. Again, 59-41%. You also have Georgia at 16 electoral votes, Trump at 64%, Kamala Harris at 36%. And you have Michigan, which is a little bit closer, but still, that's 15 electoral votes. Trump's at 55%, and Kamala Harris is at 45%. Then Arizona, that's a huge delta. be interesting to see if, and again, shoot, by the time this video is rendered and uploaded, maybe new sample size will come out, or they'll have a new study that'll show it differently. But can't help but think, there's a reason she's doing more and more of these interviews, well, failing more and more of these interviews. But I think they're getting pretty desperate. Now, that being said, who knows? Maybe the lawfare against Trump will just ratchet up again. They'll slap him with 59 lawsuits or 59 more made-up crimes. I mean, or try to. We'll see. I pray it doesn't happen, but I'm also concerned what something physically happens to Trump between now and the election day. I mean, they've tried darn near everything to stop him. I can't help but wonder, what might come next. Now, this went pretty viral. I got about 500,000 views and 12,000 likes. One of the first most popular comments comes from Hugh Hamder, saying, quote, "Do it for your children, do it for America. Trump 2024 gained 235 likes." So let's be honest, I need to reread that in the popular vernacular, or popular pronunciation. Do it for America. This sounds cooler that way, or maybe that's just me. Scrolling down more and more, you have Brad Smith saying, quote, "We will still need to work. Please do not forget the ballot races. This doesn't work unless we have total control." You have Trump and Elon and AI, or I don't know if it's AI image or just a funny cartoon, where they're trying to unscrew a pipeline, apparently to try to drain the swamp, so to say, which, yeah, apparently, Elon, he might put Elon in charge of the Department of Cutting Bullshit Spending, pardon the French, which, yeah, in terms of cutting spending and making companies more efficient, there are a few men that are more capable of that than Elon Musk. I mean, he cut 80% of the staff from X, Twitter, and it's running just as good, if not better today than what it was prior when he was not running it. That little cartoon got 161 likes. Steve Valdez says, "MAGA, who's ready for some lower grocery prices," getting 393 likes. Yes, that'd be great. Again, the biggest lie being told by mainstream media these days, or one of them, there's many of them, but a lot of people are saying, well, groceries are expensive because these grocery stores are so greedy, they're evil. Most of these grocery stores are publicly traded. You could look at their finances, and the industry average for grocery stores is not good. The profit margin is 2%. Also known as terrible. They only make money in the aggregate, and just a couple mistakes, they could be in a lot of trouble. Last fiscal quarter, Albertsons, one of the major chain owners of grocery stores, I believe their profit margin was 1.63%. Walmart, which again, they're bolstered by things that are more durable, like clothing, electronics, pharmaceuticals. They have other things they sell. Even they were sub 3%. I believe it's 2.72% profitability for Walmart last fiscal quarter. So again, it's not the grocery stores, it's the cost of goods sold and the cost of the transportation. It's all those other variables that are being ratcheted up. These grocery stores aren't making, 50% off some, I don't know what you sell there, an Apple. I mean, Apple, a computer company, is making 50% profit on a device, but the actual Apple you eat, that's, worth something. That one, the profit is terrible. That's why a lot of these stores are trying to supplement it with, other things like, like I was saying, computers, perfume. So again, people are saying, oh yeah, lower grocery prices. Yes, that can happen. It's quite literally tackling inflation, these other things. And fuel cost. Everything needs to get here somehow. And yeah, having cheap petrol, or gasoline as we call it here, that'd be nice. Remember when the U.S. was energy independent for the first time in 60 years and gas is under $2 a gallon? That'd be kind of nice to have again. But I partially digress. I go back to the comments now. Candace Underfoot says, quote, "The betting market hasn't been wrong on the election presidential race since Jimmy Carter in 1976, getting 53 likes." There's Jeffrey says, "Every single swing state, imagine 312 electoral votes for Trump is a mandate. Polymarket needs to get more states on the swing state aspect because more could follow next." There's a picture of a crying NBC person with a joy mask and a Harris Walls sticker on its head, getting 62 likes. Let's see here. Any contrarian statements here? Crypto Express says, "Trump, let's go." It's a picture of her voting early in California. Really? 40 likes. Pretty good. I don't know. I need to see what kind of AI engines they're using. Cavers X says, "Let's go Legend." It's a picture of Trump AI image. It looked like George Washington. And that got 73 likes. Santiva says, "He has leads in the betting market. Betting markets make it clear they can quite drastically change by any little thing." Get 82 likes, which, yes, it's true. Pie market's betting. But again, casinos and betting and gambling establishments, they like to make money. So that's why I'm always wondering, that's why I'm always a little bit more confident in terms of, do you believe the betting odds? I mean, the casino always wants to make money. They're not going to intentionally lose by a lot. Let's see here. Dr. Keenan says the margin is huge. Congratulations to Trump. Not really giving us information to the poll, or not seeing where the statistics come from to back this up. There's a flag, or not flag. There's an image of the U.S. with notes that Trump get 332 electoral votes, and Democrats or Kamala get 216. They got 3 likes. There's a lot of people in the comment section where that's rigged, which, yeah, again, who knows what's going to happen at 3 a.m., comes voting night, and some states are so utterly inept and inefficient, it takes them days or weeks to count votes, which is, third world countries count their votes more efficiently than that to count, but wonder why is it. It's a testament to the ineptitudes of the public sector or corruption that it takes that long. But let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Do you believe, if you were to place money on, again, not financial advice, or shoot, I'm not a gambler myself, really, but yeah, if you were to put money down, do you think Trump's going to win, especially those swing states? Let me know, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the business blunder of the day, you have Honda recalling 720,000 vehicles for fuel pumps that have some issues that may actually be explosive. Pun, well, roughly intended. This comes to us through James, thanks to The Drive, which he says, quote, Honda recalls another 720,000 cars for leaky fuel pumps that can catch fire. And they say, it's kind of, I'm not sure if this is a pun or he's just dry humor, but he says, it's not good when an internal combustion engine becomes an external combustion engine. Which, how boring is that? Not the topic, but the picture they chose to use for this article was the Honda Civic base model, which, not base is cool, but the base trim level, which even Honda marketing would never, I don't think would ever do. At least give us the SI, if not the Type R, with all the horsepower, which only come in a 6-shift, which I do appreciate Honda doing. However, I don't appreciate the fact that it's becoming more and more unreliable. That is why people buy Hondas. They don't buy it because it's the flashiest or the coolest. Oh, I love my green Honda Civic 2018 SI. It's a coupe. They need to make that again. But you made sacrifices. I bought that over a Ford Focus ST because even though ST had, 45 more horsepower, felt a lot more fun in terms of acceleration, a little more nimble because, again, it's a smaller vehicle. But I chose Honda because of the track record, moderately intended, of Honda. And yet they keep having these darn recalls, which is quite frustrating for most consumers. Now, according to the details, they say, quote, the first half of October wasn't fun for Honda. A couple weeks ago, the automaker announced a massive recall of 1.7 million vehicles for steering problems. Now, adding insult to that injury, or hopefully not, Honda is recalling 720,000 for fuel pump problems. While the fuel pump fails, it can actually cause it to stall or not start, which might probably be the safest of all the variables or all the different options. They say defect can cause combustion outside your engine. Now, they know that the defect is not, announced by Honda. Honda states that the defect is found in the fuel pump of certain 2023 to 2024 model year vehicles. The NHTSA has not published any in-depth report on the recall yet, but Honda says there's a problem in the core of these vehicles, high pressure fuel pumps, which, are they even testing things anymore? I could forgive you if a window switch doesn't work, or if the little light bulb, if the overhead light doesn't turn on and off, fine. But one of the most integral, important parts of the vehicle, getting fuel to the engine, doesn't work. Who is testing these things? Now, again, they say, quote, there's a problem in the core of the vehicle's high pressure fuel pumps. The pumps may have internal cracks, potentially from manufacturing errors, that may expand during operation and eventually leak. Like any external fuel leak, it typically poses a fire risk, though Honda says it's unaware of any crashes or industry injuries associated with the defect at this time, which, silver lining, again, no one's been hurt from this. Thankfully, there's been no loss of life in the situation, and there's been no issues in terms of any crashes, apparently. Now, they say, quote, vehicles known to have been infected include the 2023 and newer CRV hybrids. No hybrids, don't get me started. But also the 2023 and 2024 Honda Accord, the Accord hybrid, and the iconic 2023 Honda Civics, along with the hybrid version. Honda indicates a potential sign of the defect is the smell of fuel while driving or idling, and it will begin to notify owners affected in December, which, sure, you can wait for that or just tune into the show where, shoot, it seems like half the business blunders are automotive related. Granted, it makes sense because the average vehicle has about 10,000 components in it, so there's a lot of vectors and areas of failure that things can go wrong. Now, they say they will be mailed, again, snail mail, but they'll have mailed instructions sent to specific people, telling them to visit a Honda dealer for a free inspection, plus replacement if the part is found to be faulty. Owners can also check at recalls.honda.com to see if the vehicle is affected, which, I don't know if it's really a life hack, but just make sure you take your smartphone and get a picture of your VIN number. That way you don't have to go back to your vehicle, do that now, and that way when you go to the website, it's already there. Or you already have that data with you, which, you can find it at the door cell, but most conveniently, you just take a picture through the windshield. It's right up there. again, that website is recall.hondas.com. They know that some of these same vehicles were implicated in another recall, notably the Civic and CR-V. They say the availability of the recall services may be slightly staggered. However, the notices for the steering defect being issuing in November. So some people are going to get more than one letter over the course of a couple of weeks, which is ridiculous. I don't know what's more boring, the Honda Civic Base or the Honda SUV. Slightly more exciting. The Honda Civic is in red, and red's kind of cool. So they used to have a lot of cool colors, like green and yellow. I have like 5 for the Civic, so a lot of room for improvement. And again, when it comes to Honda, I mean, Soichiro Honda was a genius when he founded the company. I mean, he started making, piston rings. They made motorcycles. The story of Honda is great. One of my favorite books, what is it on the shelf over here, is Driving Honda by Jeffrey Rothenfinder. Great novel. I read that earlier this year. I loved it, the story of Honda. They make some of the best cars on the planet, but they keep messing up and also not making a refresh of the Honda S2000. That's an abomination to engineering and your customers. Just do it. We all want it. But in all seriousness, getting the core of Honda and all these recalls, they just keep chiseling away at what used to be not perfect, but an exceptional brand and reputation. And don't get me wrong, I know every company's having more and more recalls because of coming computers on wheels and more points of failure being introduced. Even Toyota's getting massive recalls as well. No automobile company is infallible or immune from a recall. I understand, but I mean, shoot, my parents have a frugal family, but my parents bought a 2001 Honda Accord new and still have it to this day. It runs like a champ, partially because I think there's less complexity, and I think that kind of peaked in the 1990s, 2000 in terms of peak reliability. It seems like these new cars just can't get a break in terms of having to go back to the dealer. And of course, it's going to be free for the consumers, but it's going to cost your time, your energy, and shoot, maybe the dealer has to keep the car overnight. Maybe they do or do not have a lender. A lot more things to worry about. And at the end of the day, the dealers aren't happy because they get paid a discount rate from the factory. So the mechanics aren't happy because they're getting a discount on their work. They have to do it. So it's one of those instances where all around not good. And again, I'm not sure they just need to redouble their efforts in the quality assurance department or redouble or triple the miles in which they're testing these vehicles before they actually greenlight all the components. But unfortunately, Honda, again, this recall of 720,000 vehicles goes at fuel pump. I gotta say, that is certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.